What's up, chat? Happy Monday. We didn't really get a late start because we didn't schedule the stream today, but usually I like to start these at like 2. But man, yesterday was a long day for me. Little wrestling show, so it was a day of no sleep. So today we recharged, and I got myself a couple clicks of the snooze button, but we are good to go, and we have a bunch of games on tonight's MLB docket. So we're gonna jump into some research. We got 11 games, a bunch of lineups already out. So real quick, going into the weather report, looks like Cleveland at Boston, decent chance of delay. Pittsburgh, Chicago, decent. Winds coming in, all right. And then green, yellow at the Angels and Royals, some showers possible. Everything looks pretty light with heavier rain holding north. Cool. And then Baltimore and Philly also have a little bit. So nothing major to sideline us, I guess is what I'm looking for. Shout out to the live chat. What up, Tizzle? What up, Craig? Starting a new Nerp. What's up, Tizzle? Shout out to Tizzle. A Red Sox fan might have to start putting on the brown paper bag, right, with the eye socket holes in it. It's a rough it's a rough week for you guys. Oh man, I don't care. You guys deserve it. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. All right, let's type some games up here. We do got a couple confirmed games here right off the rip. So, oh, you know what? I had yeah, there we go. I was wondering. I was like, man, this song is way longer than. I had it on repeat. There's like repeat 1, which I don't know why. Why would you have a random and then repeat 1 on every song? Just what kind of animals out there listening to every song twice? Spotify, explain yourself. We're gonna do Braves and Phillies, and both of these teams have already sent out some confirmed lineups. And it looks like one of the games I want to attack. Although Max Fried's not a bum, so I probably will have to get some shares of him. But in the grand scheme of the slate, little Citizens Bank Park for you, boy. Also, Matt Vierling leading off. Do some research on that. Castellanos batting 5th. I just really like this Phillies lineup against lefties. But Max Fried ain't no punk. All right, both lineups out here confirmed. We got an implied run total of 5 for the Braves, just 3.7 for the Phillies. Phillies are plus 155, and I think that's fair. I definitely think in Citizens Bank Park, I'm looking for a team like the Braves to be a focal point of my stacks, but also a team that probably runs pretty trendy. Nonetheless, we got to get some exposure to them, so let's go Braves in our stack list, and let's put Fried as a tier 3 for now. If he moves up, he moves up. I'm also going to put the Phillies down here, but they won't be like a high percentage stack, but I just think I want some piece of them. And I also want to look at Vierling, see if there's more to his big league numbers from the minors to maybe feel better. Not feel better, but to get more excited about him leading off, you know? Oh my god, the sex bots. They're quick with it. What up, Brian? F the Red Sox. Sox and Celtics making me nauseous this week. Dude, I heard that about the Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant trade package. I was like, I mean, I like, obviously I don't agree or disagree with it. I definitely reserve the right to let the Celtics fans feel how they want to feel, because obviously Kevin Durant is one of the best players on the planet. But it just feels like the Celtics have something brewing, like a dynasty-esque core, and it's just kind of weird. 806 OPS in the minors, so nothing major. Not 8 stolen bases. You like that? You do. And then against lefties in the minors, 286 average, 794 OPS. So not a big superpower guy. Actually, not power really at all, but can steal some bases. It looks like so. All right, so in that leadoff spot, I guess he'll catch some lineups. Cool. What up, Rob? Hope you guys are doing all right. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a pretty long weekend. I helped produce a wrestling company in my area, and yesterday was a show, so it was one of those very little sleep nights and days to make sure everything is just right. And of course, we still had technical difficulties, right? Let's move on to the Rays here and the Orioles. I guess for bomb detector purposes, Acuna is at the top against Ranger Suarez. Suarez is somebody who does allow a little bit of a home run, a little bit of home runs this season against righties, but he still is maintaining a 50% ground ball rate. So he's not necessarily somebody that in his batted ball data is going to suggest he should give up a ton of them, but less than 20% K rate is going to allow contact. So anytime you're going to allow Acuna, Austin Riley, guys like that to put the ball in play against a lefty, I'm here for it. Back to the Rays. Rays and Camden. Corey Kluber taking a bump. Both of these lineups are already confirmed too. That's what you love. Little two-hole Adley Rutschman still. Rugi. Also need to check the board on. I guess nothing would have stood out to me in that last game for props. I hope we get some strong props today. My goodness. What up, Andrew? You're it. What up, Smoothie? Had Alcantara. Blue Jays twin stack still didn't cash on Fanduel. My goodness. That sucks. Digging the beats. I appreciate that, man. Let me know if they're too loud or too low. But sometimes when they're too loud, it can drown out the research. So far, these first two games are pretty self-explanatory. I hate to be cheap on the research here, but I think we all know Max Fried's good. Neither pitcher are fly ball pitchers in that game. And in this spot, Corey Kluber been pretty solid, serviceable, 3.87 expected ERA this year. Does waver a little bit on the road with a 4.16 xFIP, 18% K rate, and a 1 home run per 9. So you take about a Tropicana. Naturally, his numbers aren't going to be as good. And the Orioles have been pretty doggone scrappy, the last month or two. So not a warm and fuzzy spot, but 8,300. There's still a range of outcome for 16. And just taking a glance at the pitching pool today, it's not an ace-filled slate. Max Fried's at the tippy top. We got Tony Gonsolin. This is this is going to be one I think where points are at a premium today, and we'll settle on some maybe underwhelming games. I don't know how many of these guys we can bank on for like 30 plus. So a Corey Kluber scrappy 15-16 just might be enough to get us there. Austin Voth, 4.76 expected ERA, 21% K rate. Is he truly long for this one, or is this 41-76? Yeah, he's probably not long enough in this game anyway. Which is, I don't want to say a shame, but the Rays, you saw with Brad Keller, this is a lineup with a lot of strikeouts in it. So maybe not today with Austin Voth, although maybe if your risk tolerance is a little bit bigger than mine, you're going to find pitchers have some random big games against the Rays because of how much they do strike out, especially this incarnation of the lineup without, Wander Franco. Only 1, 2, 3 of these guys have a above average WRC plus against righties. So probably not Voth for me today, just because I don't know that he's long for this one. But just maybe keep that in your memory bank here, that Rays can allow some fake strikeout games to the right pitchers. I guess we will have to put Corey Kluber in the bottom of our tier 3 for now, just because he can survive here. As far as stacks go, 4.2 run total for the Orioles, 4.5 for the Rays. I'm not that enthralled with this Rays team as a collective stack. I do think Brandon Lau, G-Man Choi, or Rosarena, you get those guys going. I could buy into that. I'm gonna hold off on putting him as a onslaught stack candidate. Definitely some 3-mans for sure. And on the Orioles, I like this Orioles team. Corey Kluber does feel like one of the stronger pitchers on the slate in terms of picking on. So it's not a plus matchup, but this 1 through 5 is looking really, really nice. So maybe I'm right on the edge. So I'm gonna put him at the very bottom for now as a potential stack. And no big power marks here. No one in the bomb detector at 4. Brandon Lau is the only guy in this game pushing near 4. So hard to like this game for multiple homers, What up, Skimmer? I'll be doing all right. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever, but we did a stream on Friday. But that All-Star break felt like a nice break. But I recharged a week before too, so I guess that's that. We ready for football and basketball though, man. That's when the chat's lit. Guardians at the Red Sox. Oh boy. Both of these lineups are confirmed. You love to see that. We got Zach Plesac on the bump for the Guardians. Green light that. Red Sox. Aaron Duran, Mr. Grand Slam himself. Wow. So a different lineup too. No Rafi Devers. From what I understand, I think Tizzlemane can confirm this. Devers was traded to the Yankees for Joey Gallo. I think that was the move. Big move there for the Red Sox. Honestly, I think they probably won that trade. Somebody's listening with their eyes like, what? They did what? They didn't actually do that, chat. But this is definitely your C lineup from the Red Sox. No JD Martinez, no Rafi Devers. Are they hurt? I think Devers did hurt on a... Yeah, he's on the IL, and then JD Martinez day-to-day, so not a great-looking Red Sox lineup, and probably going to be a pretty pivotal week for them, right? If they go on a big slump here with the trade deadline looming, maybe they become sellers, but we'll see. Nick Pivetta on the bump for the Red Sox here. He's got a 4.39 expected ERA. Does have a 23% K rate, so he can steal some strikeout games. But the Guardians are not a team I really target for strikeouts. There is a lane here, maybe for you live K prop bettors on PrizePicks. If you get to an inning where you expect 5 through 8 to be up, maybe you can still an over half or over 1 strikeout prop for Nick Pivetta there. But past those guys, it is a very, very no strikeout zone, no fly zone for the Guardians here. So I wouldn't be that enthralled with it. But just the fact that he can steal some strikeouts makes him interesting for that live stuff. Zach Plesac on the bump, 5.62 expected ERA, 16.9% K rate. I mean, these are just not metrics that we look at for upside in DFS out of our pitcher spot. Very rarely going to give us a big 20-plus gotta-have game. Last outing, 72 pitches, so maybe we're up to 85, 90 pitches here, which is fine, but I just don't know how often he converts 90 pitches into a must-have game. So it is unstoppable force, movable object in terms of suck v suck, but man, I usually bad hitting for me can beat some bad pitching. 10.8% barrel rate this year, yikes. So can we get to stacking either team? Well, as bad as the Red Sox look, Duran can serve a purpose, get on base, steal the bag. Rob Refsnyder, this 216 average the last 2 years against righties feels a little, feels like a lie, because when you watch, he's been getting on base a lot. Verdugo can definitely be in some lineups for me, Xander Bogaerts. So I'm just kind of on the fence overall. And then if you're going to be a 11% K rate guy to lefties, Franchi Cordero, 33% K rate. You neutralize that. You allow him to put the ball in play a little bit more. We know he's got some sneaky pop. And the same with Bobby Dalbec, 33% K rate. He does strike out righties a little bit more, but you can still neutralize that a little bit. And then when he is putting the ball in play, since the beginning of last year, 16% barrel rate. So there's some sneaky bats here to maybe jump on. But nothing any which way you cut this game, whether it be stack-wise or pitching-wise, I think is ever going to give me some warm and fuzzies. Against Nick Pivetta, though, 1.5 home run per 9, 11% walk rate. Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, this same old song and dance. The Guardians all year long for me have been more of a 3-man stack than a 5-man stack. That probably doesn't change today. But maybe I fall into a couple 5-mans just because Nolan Jones has been peeking his head up on my model lately. And then Franmil Reyes is in the mix as well. And if we can cut down his 35% K rate a little bit, we know he can put the ball in play. We know Stephen Kwan, too. We saw him homer yesterday for the second time this season. He'll definitely put the ball in play. So I might sell myself on some Guardians 5-mans today. So let's go ahead and drop them in the bucket. And I think the Red Sox feel more like a 3-man option tonight. So I'll keep them off the onslaught list. Yeah, no. I'll trade Gallo for a dirty sandwich and some expired milk. Oh, man. What's up, Paul and Boats? What up, David? Play cheap pitchers today and big bats. Yeah, it seems like the only way you can play this late because they're not really big pitchers to go up and get anyway. Fried, Gonsolin, I mean, come on. And that's not no disrespect to those two. I think they're good pitchers, but it's like on a grand scheme of a regular slate, man, those are the aces to dabble with. So I definitely think you're gonna see some wonky lineups flirting with the top tonight with like 10 out of a pitcher spot, Love Devers, obviously, fellow Yankee fan here. Be chill with Benintendi. I thought that Benintendi, and I think he's still one of the guys that we're likeliest to get if we do make a move there. But the non-vax thing, but then I guess he kind of went back and said if he was on a team, worth getting vaxxed for, he would. So we'll see. Bias to the Yankees, no thank you. Here, what up, Conscious? Obviously, the wish list is Soto. Then for me, Ian Happ. I would like Happ over Benintendi and then Benintendi. But I also really want pitching, really more so than the hitting. I like if we went to the playoffs and instead of Gallo we had Matt Carpenter. I don't think I'm losing sleep on that. But I know we don't have pitching to make it through the Astros right now, and we need it. So I would really like a Luis Castillo if possible. Plenty of Ashby tonight. Yeah, Ashby's definitely a big strikeout potential guy. So I don't think that's a bad place to be. Let's get the next game put in the spreadsheet. It's Padres and the Tigers. I've been on a Kool-Aid kick lately. So if my lips look like I'm wearing lipstick or anything like that, just know it's Kool-Aid. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Trent Grisham. All right, Sean Manaea. He definitely might, by default, end up being one of the pitchers that maybe get a little coagulated ownership. because he's also just like pound for pound one of the more talented pitchers on this slate. But this Tigers lineup a little bit scrappy to lefties, so maybe a little trappy, but usually not a lot of power in this lineup. Tigers lineup confirmed. Padres is not. Manaea, 3.74 expected ERA, 1.23 whip. A lot of that's come from his 10.7% walk rate to lefties and his 250 average allowed to righties, but still holding on to a 24% K rate, almost a 12% swing and strike rate. So those are good numbers. Tigers on the season, 111 ISO, 100 WRC plus, dead smack, stinking even, not walking a lot, striking out a decent bit since the beginning of last year. A bit of green in this hit for average column. Javi Baez, Robbie Grossman, Miggy, Eric Haas, and Jonathan Scope, all guys that make it a tough lane to get through. But again, you see these ISO numbers dropping. Only guys that are hitting for power against lefties since the beginning of last year, Javi Baez and Eric Haas. So is a little bit of a risk reward spot here for Manaea, but just based on who he is, based on what his potential pitch count could be, and it could get into 100 plus, I think we do get some exposure to him. 94, 112 that game, and again, 15 just might mean a little bit more on this slate than any other slate. So I do think I'll get to both sides of this game, but I don't get to know Manaea. And then I'll get to a little bit of Tigers. This slate is really, really, really weird. No Drew Hutchison likely for me. 4.92 expected ERA, 14% K rate. Just really no redeeming qualities. And therefore probably are getting to some Padres. Last couple games, 4, 11, 14, 2.9, 2 fantasy points. Just no strikeout numbers to really get behind to make you feel like there is some upside. At least some of these like Pavetas and Manaea and stuff like that. Even if you put them in a perceptually tough matchup, you still know that they can be a pitcher that steals some strikeouts or gets through a game. But Hutchison is just really not much to get excited for. So if I want to pick on Hutchison, he has been allowing more fly balls to lefties. I know that's only resulted in a 106 home run per 9 so far, but usually a 1 home run per 9 with this type of contact, this type of xFIP, all this stuff doesn't really add up. Really, the 1 or less home run per 9s are usually correlated with like 40-50% ground ball rates. That's not the case right now with Hutchison against lefties. So if this number holds up, the 32% ground ball rate with a 20% K rate, I expect a little bit more home runs. And he is walking lefties quite a bit. So this is a Padres team, almost a 9% walk rate to righties this season, just a 22% K rate. They are below average in WRC plus. So, one of the reasons I'm never fully enthralled in the 5-man here, but against Hutchison, if you can get through Hutchison pretty quick and definitely take advantage of his walk rate, then you can create the big inning potential. So 2 on for Machado, 2 on for Mazar or something like that. So I will get to some Padres, man, but none of these stacks really make me excited to get to, but it's because of how poor the pitching is against them that I'll probably get behind him. I'm gonna hold off on putting a 5-man until I see that lineup, but obviously we'll always have shares of Cronenworth, Machado, maybe even some Voit against the pitcher that strikes out only 9% or 10% of righties that he's facing. He does keep the ball on the ground to righties at a 50% clip here, so going to be a little bit tougher, but I trust a guy like Machado to be able to put the right launch angle on the baseball, right? If they get Soto, I quit. If the Yankees get Soto, maybe. So I don't think they will. The more I think about it, I think like the Yankees are stingy. And then that sounds weird. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, that's stingy. They buy championships. I don't mean it like that. I just mean it like in the past couple of years, really, since Cashman's been involved and post Mr. Steinbrenner's passing, they've been a little bit stingy, right? They've been picking their spots where they give up some money. So the thing with Soto, though, is you don't really have to give up more money. I think it would be worth it for a team like the Dodgers, the Yankees, a team that can make it happen. You could take the next 3 years of Soto, then let him walk. The only reason that I'm on the fence about the Yankees doing anything is because I know that they need pitching so bad. So if they get to a point where they're willing to trade some assets, a Peraza or a Volpe or something like that, to get a Soto, which I'm all for, I will definitely say yes in a heartbeat. Well, then maybe we start thinking about beefing up our pitching, because our bullpen is in shambles. We're getting unfortunate injuries. Michael King, Luis Severino, Chad Green, it's been really bad. Jonathan Loaiza has not been the same. Aroldis Chapman's washed. I think the priority's got to be pitching here. So I'd be definitely game for 3 years of Soto, but I also would really just like to have some stabilization in our pitching. So I kind of have my heart set on Louis Castillo, or maybe even a Frankie Montas, somebody like that is a high-end priority. But I will take Soto. But yeah. Feel like Hosmer's due. I like that. Hosmer against a 20% K rate, sure. Hosmer in the bomb detector is just 3.28, not great, but I can see him getting some RBIs here. Yankees are stingy, at least compared to 20 yards. They are. They are. And think about all the people they haven't paid. They didn't pay Bryce Harper, right? And those guys were free agents that wanted to play for the Yankees. Manny Machado wanted to play for the Yankees. Bryce Harper wanted to play for the Yankees. Patrick Corbin was one of the hottest commodities in that offseason. So, the narrative that the Yankees just buy all the players, it really isn't that true, because they haven't been doing that. Garrett Cole is really like the only white whale that they really went out there and gave a fat contract to. All their contracts they kind of inherited, right? The Giancarlo Stanton contract, the Josh Donaldson contract. So, what are you gonna do? Pirates and the Cubs, next game on the docket. They're still one of the top teams in payroll and stuff like that, but this definitely is a different philosophy than the early 90s, which were kind of chaotic. If you were young like me in the 90s and didn't quite understand what the Yankees were doing behind the scenes, there was some scandals, man. It's enthralling television to go back and watch some of those. I was watching some of those games during the All-Star break, but also some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, like with Dave Winfield and Reggie Jackson. Steinbrenner was like paying people to kind of sabotage his own players so he can get out of some money. There was some scandals, man. And then the Billy Martin years, my God. I was a kid. I didn't understand how crazy Billy Martin was. And I had an opportunity to watch a Billy Martin documentary on MLB Network. Captivating, bro. Captivating. You don't get managers like that these days. Cubs hosting the Pirates. Cubs a 4.4 implied run total. Pirates 3.7. So another run-of-the-mill average game. Brubaker on the bump, 23% K rate, 1.41 whip. Does have a solid expected ERA, but that whip is very, very dangerous. And Adrian Sampson, kind of the same, a 3.69 expected ERA. The Sierra at 4.42 and the whip at 1.21. Doesn't give you the strikeout upside of a Brubaker. I do think against my will, right? I think Brubaker makes it to the player pool at 7,400. This Cubs lineup has a decent bit of strikeout potential in it. Wilson Contreras, Seiya Suzuki, Ian Happ, Wisdom, Rivas, and Chris Morel, 25 to 30+% K rate. So if we're settling on 14, 15, 16 fantasy points out of a pitcher spot tonight, I think Brubaker has a shot. We talked how the wind is going to be blowing in a little bit. It's only 70 degrees out there only, right? I think we do get to some Brubaker, unfortunately. So again, I'm gonna put him in the tier 3 spot, but I got a feeling that I might get into a dumb amount of them. Let me double check his pitch count. 99 on the 13th, so he should be solid. And he doesn't have like super blemishes in terms of power allowed. Under a 1 homer per night against both sides of the plate. I guess the walks are a little uncomfortable between 9 and 10%, but for the most part, I think the strikeout potential is enough for me to get behind. And then Sampson, no thank you. We'll cherry pick some bats here. And, I say that about Sampson. His swing and strike rate is double digits, but the K rate being just 17%, it just doesn't add up. Even if it was at last, I don't know. Is anybody going to play some Sampson? I don't think I am. 7,100. I don't think I will, but the Pirates strike out just as much as the Cubs, so I just know that we have a little bit more strikeout stuff in Brubaker's DNA than Sampson. But I guess I wouldn't fault you if you took a shot on both pitchers in this game. And I probably just cherry pick bats here, looking for a pretty average game, Here, what up, Ayo? Chapman's OP. Shut up. Chapman is washed, man. It's hard to watch. Yankees need pitching and a left-handed power bat. Yankees should trade for Castillo and Votto package. I think that Votto contract might be a little something. I would be okay with that, but where do you put Votto? Because he's not starting over Rizzo. He's we already got Matt Carpenter, so I just don't really think Votto has a place to play. And that DH spot's just kind of rotated through. Can you ever see the show The Bronx is Burning about the Yankees with the Steinbrenner, Reggie, Billy Martin? I didn't, but I want to. So if I can find that online, I'll definitely watch that. Man, right before the dynasty started, it was chaos, bro. It was chaos. Tyler Gilbert got scratched. Mel Curley, okay. Cool. We haven't got to that game yet, but that helps a lot. That probably changes the Giants lineup a lot too. Whatever they were gonna put out there changes, going from a contact lefty to a contact righty. All right, Cubs. So I'm gonna hold off putting either one of those teams into 5 minutes. Man, this slate I don't want to say the slate sucks, but from a pitching and offense standpoint, like, there's no warm and fuzzy so far. Then we got Thor and freaking Greinke. Good lord. All right, this might be a good spot to look at player props with Thor on the bump. You know what that means. And then I don't know what I missed yesterday, but when I came home last night, I kept seeing a lot of like Twitter clickbait articles about Ohtani getting traded, and I was like, what? What did I miss? I feel like that's not gonna happen. But there's like a lot of teams that need pitching and power. It's like, Ohtani would be perfect. I'm like, what? And then all of the any of those that suggest the Yankees, I'm just like, Ohtani literally didn't want to be a Yankee. Like, he could have joined the Yankees. Yankees, a lot of people thought that he was, but he opted to go Los Angeles. So I don't know how that rumor got started, unless I missed something yesterday while I was gone all day. But I mean, I would understand it if the Angels are ready to sell. We got a confirmed Royals lineup. Nothing on the Angels yet. All right, so Syndergaard on the bump. Anybody in chat, press 1 if you could get a stolen base on Syndergaard. It should be everyone. The Royals have a 4.1 implied run total, but at the top of this lineup, Merrifield, Benintendi, Melendez. So I want to look at what Merrifield hitter fantasy points might be, because if he gets on 8.5, I do think that's going to be something that I want to keep in mind. So let's get our list going. It's not really a core, but let's go with Merrifield over 8.5 FPS on PrizePicks, and I'm kind of thinking Benintendi as well. I don't know if Benintendi's at 8.5. Benintendi 7, even better. All right, I'll keep those in the back of my mind, back of my list here. Thor against lefties, just a 16% K rate, 256 average allowed. So that's positive for Melendez or Benintendi anyway. And then Merrifield, I think, has a chance for double stolen base potential. So I like that. I do think the Royals stack is intriguing to me. Just a 4.1 implied run total. Feels a little bit light. Does look like the temps are pretty low throughout this slate. not where I'm at, but throughout the slate, I see a bunch of 70s and 80s. So this is a Royals game that looks like it's going to be around 72 degrees. And they were at 100 degrees over the weekend when it was Brad Keller against the Rays. And the Rays were chalk. So we got like a 30 degree difference in temps in a couple days. That's pretty wild. Neither pitcher or pitchers I want to get behind. Zach Greinke at 5,900. I guess maybe if he gets to 10 plus, this is a very, very strikeout prone Angels lineup, but Zach Greinke just does not come to the mound with a lot of strikeout stuff in his pitches anymore. This season, a 12.7% strikeout rate, 7.5% swing and strike rate. Out of curiosity, what is the strikeout prop at? 4. Good God. So that's I think that's a product of this matchup. There is all red outside of Luis Rengifo for strikeout stuff, 25 to 30%. So I guess that if you want to buy into the props, if the props tell you 4 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, he likely eats 5-6 innings if he's not getting blasted. Maybe there is a chance that his 5.9K can play. 22, 17, 21, 5,900. I think that's a price play and a kind of a vomit play just because of how bad the pitching is today. Oh man, am I about to type Zach? I don't know if my fingers will. Hey Cortana, type Greinke. I might do it for the price on DraftKings. I might. I'm doing it. I'm definitely gonna have to reshuffle the other guys to like tier 2. And then with Thor, if he doesn't like put runners on, I guess there's a range of outcome at 7K where he can survive. But I like the Royals team here a little bit more than the Angels team, so I'm probably gonna back off from leaving him in the mix for now. But yeah, hitter wise against Greinke, such a low K rate, a plus home run per 9 over 1 to both sides of the plate. Ohtani, Ward, Walsh, on top of range of outcomes here. While Greinke could have a fine game for that price point, we could also see a couple guys be able to offset their massive K rates with ability to put the ball in play a little bit more, maybe extrapolate a little bit more power. Brandon Marsh, guys like that, Joe Adele. So kind of both sides of that, but it is yucky each way. Each way. Naquin instead of Votto should work. Isn't Naquin's on the is Naquin on the Guardians though? No, that's not Naquin. That's Naylor. I'm dumb. KC about to steal all of them. Ohtani to the Yanks would break the internet. I don't. It would go crazy, and I would be excited. I'm not gonna lie, but that seems very unlikely. But it also just seems like if Ohtani was gonna be it. Oh, first of all, I think Ohtani every time he pitched in Yankee Stadium, he's just got absolutely blasted. And then secondly, like. He could have joined. He could have been on the Yankees. It doesn't seem like something he wants. So I don't know if they want to put him in something that he doesn't want. But that would be a great fit for a team that needs another lefty and pitching. What's up, Brandon? Hope you're doing all right. Merrifield with 14 stolen bases. Let's go. Yeah, no, I think Merrifield's still in a base. I don't know what the like the sportsbook line on that is. Sometimes you get that at like plus 600, plus whatever. That's probably a little bit juiced today because of how likely it is to happen, but it just seems like a strong spot for a fantasy prop on PrizePicks. Speaking of which, I'm not going to do the full drop because I am low on time here, but if you guys want to take some Merrifield PrizePicks player prop action, link in the chat to get in on that. That rhymed. I'm not a rapper. And also do it with Underdog as well. Those links in chat, or if you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they double your first deposit up to $100. What is Merrifield on? Oh, they don't even have Merrifield on Underdog. They're like, yeah, we know he's gonna have 20. Well, Ohtani went to the Yanks. They could use this lefty bat, put him in 2 spots behind Cole. Yeah, I definitely I agree with that. It doesn't seem like something that he wanted or wants. And yeah, I don't know. I wonder how Ohtani would. I don't know how to phrase this, but the New York market, man, is different, bro. It is different. those lights shine a little bit brighter than they do in Anaheim, no offense. And we see players, when they go to New York, they just, it's not the same. And there's a pressure when you get booed by your not a lot of teams, not a lot of crowds out here booing their players. But Yankees fans will boo players. So if Ohtani gets shelled 2 games in a row and starts getting booed, you know what I mean? Like, Rockies and Brewers, 2 teams taking on 2 lefties. I don't have a confirmed lineup for either. But Ohtani is definitely, he's been on one, man. His pitching just seems to get better and better every time he takes the bump. That would be massive. Okay, now you guys got me like thinking. But like where did this come from? Because in my mind, Ohtani was like never even on a trade block. And then after yesterday, all these reports, I was like, what happened? What changed? I don't know. Freeland on the bump for the Rockies, a 1.41 whip, 5+ expected ERA. Ashby with a 3.46 expected ERA. His whip is pretty doggone high, almost a 10% walk rate to righties, 12% walk rate to lefties. But boy, does he got some strikeout potential. 26.8% strikeout rate on the season. So this is your high risk, high reward. And it sounds like maybe one of the more trendy plays tonight. Only went 22 pitches against the Giants in his last outing. I think his arm tightened up is what happened, right? Don't quote me on that, but I feel like that's what happened. And then, that was only on 3-4 days rest anyway. So hopefully we're back to a little bit normal today. But even at 7,700, this is one of those spots against an out of course team where 16 fantasy points that dogs just might hunt. I will say this is a lineup I do like more against lefties, so I'll probably have to play both sides of this coin. I haven't looked at ownership yet, but if Ashby came in as one of the top 3 owned guys, I definitely would have to hedge with some Rocky stacks. CJ Crone, Chris Bryant, Connor Joe, all guys that I look for a little bit of power, all guys that I think can be a little bit patient. And there's not a lot of massive strikeout numbers in this lineup against lefties, so I'll probably scum Dacker this spot. Let's promote. I'm gonna promote Brubaker to a 2 for now, and I'll have Aaron Ashby here, and then I will put Rockies in the stack list, and then for the Brewers against Kyle Freeland. Freeland on the road, 18.3% K rate, 4.38 xFIP, keeps the ball in the park. And there are some 200 ISOs against lefties in this lineup. Adames, Andrew McCutchen, Mike Brousseau, and Hunter Renfroe. Brousseau is just like a guess. He doesn't always start, but he is kind of a platoon guy. So we'll see. We'll see if he cracks that lineup. I don't think I'm going to be playing Freeland here. He doesn't really give us the strikeout potential. But his based on this Brewers lineup, I probably will get to at least 3-mans with a couple of these lineups. Maybe some 5-mans, maybe. Yankees booing. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Yankees will boo the good players, too. Like, that's why LA would move Ohtani. Such horrible management over there. They have 2 stars in the team, still can't make the playoffs. Yeah. I feel for the fan base. I do. Because a lot of it's not their fault. I mean, their best pitcher died. They had this scandal with the opioids going on in their locker room, or the trainer or whatever that was about. Rendon gets injured. Upton was a little washed. They overpaid Pujols. They drafted 20 pitchers last year, right? So maybe in a couple years it turns around. But man, it's been a rough run for them, and I don't know how much of it I can pinpoint on the front office. Obviously, there's some bad decisions. It's on the front office for giving Pujols that contract. And when you think about Pujols' contract, that's why the Yankees and other teams now are so hesitant to give these 30-year-olds these 10-year contracts. And that's what Judge is struggling with. It looks good for the first 2-3 years, but then what do you got? So they're just in a really, really rough spot. But I guess what you can't say that they haven't tried to pay players to come and get them some action, right? Anthony Rendon was like a playoff MVP, and Scott Boras got that man paid, wins the World Series, and then they sign him, and what does he play, like 50 games? It just feels like he's always injured, which is unfortunate. But at least they showed that they were trying to put pieces around Trout, and it's just something always going wrong. And then the Tyler Skaggs stuff is just unfortunate. So what can you do? And then they went out and got Ohtani too, right? So like it's not like they haven't been trying to make moves. It's just the moves are not working. So maybe they can actually develop some players now. Because even Joe Adele, like he was a prospect a lot of people were excited for in the major league level. It just hasn't come to fruition. Adam Oller on the bump for the Athletics here. Jake Odorizzi on the bump for the Astros. Odorizzi, 18% K rate, a 4.21 expected ERA. Oller, good God, 6.43 expected ERA. We got 27 innings and he's this bad in the major leagues against the Houston Astros. That seems like a problem. 2 homers, 1 inning. So he went 80 pitches on the 17th. So I guess he's gonna good luck. Go get him, Tiger. That's a bad spot. I just don't. That's crazy. What's anything in the minors for Oller? If you're on a losing streak, what should you do in DFS? Switch the process, play lower stakes. I would say evaluate your process. Don't switch it, but be honest with yourself and look at it. And after every slate, ask yourself why you failed or why you succeeded, and what was optimal. The other day I had one of my highest owned pitchers was Max. What's his name for the Marlins? And he got hurt in the first inning. So like, I knew I was gonna bleed that night. So I mean, that's not a process thing. That's just an injury thing. But like, you need to evaluate your batch of lineups for the last week or two. See what you were doing, what was working, what wasn't working. But for the most part, I think the process in baseball is pretty black and white in terms of what's optimal. And I think the chalky process right now is almost like, how do I word this? When you listen to a lot of pros on streams and stuff, and they talk about what they're doing, a lot of it is to be anti-ownership, anti-chalk, and it's because when the chalk fails, then they're more likely to jump them and have success. But if you think about it, it's kind of I'm going to play something that's less likely to happen and hope that it happens. So there's going to be streaks where the less likely stuff doesn't happen, and you just go on big downswings. But that's the benefit of, or that's the reward of that process, because it's going to hit eventually. There's going to be chalk that completely fails. Another thing you might do is maybe go from 100, 150 to like 20, 50 or less. My highest ROI when I look at my last 3 years really is in the slates where I just play 50 lineups. My worst ROI is when I play 150 lineups, because it's just so much harder to profit. You dang near have to bink to make 150 worth it in the long run, right? Or not dang near, you do. But Josh, weren't you on a losing streak like a year or two ago, and then next day showed up winning 20K? maybe that's your process. Just come to the chat, complain, and then bink. Leverage, yeah. The leverage game is what's really taken over the baseball, and it's the right process. But when everyone's doing it, it's a sharper field. But I don't know that the game of baseball DFS has necessarily got harder. It's just always a game where we're playing variance, and we're hoping for low odds to be low odds, and be perfect. So it's going to be a stressful ride no matter what. I'll say, like, I've done pretty well in my single entries this year, but it's not as fun to win like 500, 600. You know what I mean? We're all chasing the bink, but baseball's absolutely the hardest grind. What was I doing? Oh, I was trying to see what this all our kid's about in the minors. So in the minors, 31 innings, 32 strikeouts, still a pretty high whip. So this guy he doesn't belong, and he's good luck against the Astros. So the Astros stack has to be one of our must plays, right? Has to be. Best night recently was 260 on Fanduel with zeros from Springer and Acuna. Went in here like 320. They had RC and some other randoms. Yeah. Maybe maybe try those 20 maxes, man. It's rough out here. I mean, what do you play? Do you do 150? I feel like you don't. I feel like I remember you saying that you only fire out a couple bullets. And firing a couple bullets into the 150, it's not impossible, but certainly your odds are astronomical. It's 59 degrees in that Houston game, by the way, but man, that's a bad pitcher going against Houston. Let's get the Giants and D-backs game typed up. So if you guys missed it, while I was live, there was a change to the projected pitcher for the D-backs. It went from Gilbert to Merrill Kelly. So I do think that will potentially shake up what the Giants would have thrown out. We know they're a pretty platoon-heavy lineup. So you go from a lefty to a righty off the rip. We'll see how that goes. Jacob Junis. But I would say, I think, Josh, you've been around long enough. You're smart enough to know the optimal process. Before you rewrite everything, just like understand baseball DFS is absolutely the hardest. I think it's the simplest process. You know what I mean? Like we can jump in 40 minutes before lock, look at ownership, upload projections, and let it rip. And that process is the simplest and easiest to do. Whereas basketball, we're keeping tabs on news, but the results are always so high variable that's why it's the toughest to have a steady profit or just anything ROI based for baseball. So I think even players with the best processes are going to go through massive swings for baseball, especially if you're trying to max center. And that's really any sport, but especially baseball. What up, Big Bino? Hope you're doing all right. I don't do 150. Usually around 20, 30 lineups per day. MLB so weird. I don't want to do 150. That's fair, Josh. Change pitchers for Giants game tonight. Does that change it now for stacking them against the pitcher? It does, Jeffrey. I think it'll change the lineup for sure. Like we might see Jock Peterson now. Either which way, we know they're going to be platoon heavy. David Delar, what the freak? I wouldn't expect this lineup. I think like Darren Ruff almost never starts against a righty, right? So that might be like the Jock Peterson spot. Any quick thoughts on the Reds showdown? Let me look at it real quick. Trevor Rogers versus Lodolo. All right, I'll type these pictures in real quick for you. Trevor Rogers, Nick Lodolo. Rogers a 1.55 WHIP, 4.96 expected ERA. A little bit of a home run problem to righties so far. 1.4, and this is a guy that usually pitches in Miami, so now you put him in one of the most favorable home run parks, so that's going to bode really well for opposing righties. Jonathan India, Brandon Drury, and Tommy Pham 1 through 3. Drury would probably be my favorite play. Let's see, let's put an L here. Let's put Brandon Drury and then Tommy Pham. So I guess Drury would only have a 3.83 rating on the bomb detector, but I would take that in this spot for sure. and then Tommy Pham, I would want him. And then on the Marlins side, against Lodolo, 340 average to righties. Although he does have almost a 30% K rate. Miguel Rojas leading off, Jesus Aguilar. I just want the power bats here in Great American Ballpark. So probably India, Drury, Pham, Aguilar, Rojas, Avi Garcia. Those would probably be like the 6 guys I want the most of. And then Votto can play any day. Any day. Quick thoughts. I'm not that happy about pitchers, but Lodolo does have a little bit of strikeout stuff, so let me get back to the main slate. Is Mercedes still a good cheap play against Kelly? Mercedes may not make the lineup now. We'll see. They could have Joey Bart and then DH, lefty. They also have they have La Stella, right? Is he not injured? Sometimes he's always injured. Longo's on the IL, so you'd probably see Jock Peterson in that lineup. Brandon Belt. I think he was already in the projected lineup. No, he wasn't. So you probably see all the lefties that you can get in the Lamont Wade Jr. So I definitely think this lineup changes exponentially. What's the deal with Yastrzemski? Unavailable for Sunday's game. Kepler says he hopes that. So you might see Yastrzemski. So if you had intentions on playing Yermin Mercedes, just know that there's an above 0% chance that he's just not even in the lineup to start tonight. All right, Merrill Kelly, 19.7% K rate, 3.3 expected ERA. The Giants lineup is going to be scrappy no matter what, but we never really play Kelly for strikeouts anyway. You do worry about the surprise start for a pitcher, creatures of habit. But at 8,500, can we get a 16 to 20 fantasy points? He's like steady Eddie with it, right? 20. And at home this season, he's averaging 16.7. So we talked about how this slate will kind of just be okay to take 16 fantasy points. So I do think I play some Merrill Kelly, despite it being a surprise start. His last start was on the 17th, so that's still 7-8 days, 7-8 days rest. It's not like it was like before the All-Star break where he only had 4 or 3 days or something like that. So I'm fine with it. So we add Merrill Kelly to the list. Who do we bump up here? Unfortunately, I think it might be Greinke at 5K. I hate to do that. I do. But he just has a lower risk, higher reward. In context of that statement, if you're late, it's like 5K, and I'm looking for 10, right? Jordan's out tonight? Probably. I don't know. I see him in the projected lineup. He's been back a little bit, but I haven't seen the line. Sometimes the lineups come out faster. Let me check the rundfs.com Discord. I don't see an Astros lineup yet. All right, cool. So let's get as far as stacks go in this game. I'll wait for the Giants lineup to get behind them. Junis on the bump here. He does have a 21% K rate. Keeps the whip really, really down. I think he's definitely in play today at 7,900. This lineup for the D-backs is just kind of right in the middle, right? Not a massive strikeout spot, but not a massive hit for average spot. So I think we probably get to a little bit of Junis, assuming his pitch count is above 80, 90. It's not. 34 against Milwaukee, lit. But before that, 92, 96, and ooh, actually, there was a month off. He got injured, huh? So his pitch count might be scary, but I imagine that it's above 34. It looks like he just got shelled, so they yanked him. Says he could have a workload restriction Monday for making a 2-inning relief appearance following his return from the IL a week and a half ago. So that's scary. I think I'll asterisk next to that, and later I'll have to make sure. It looks like 50 to 60 pitches might be a high hope, right? So I'm not gonna put him in my pool for now. Not until we can unlock his pitch count, and I don't think it will be unlocked. Let's go Rangers and Mariners. Koi Siga. Yeah, I swear I never typed Nate Lowe's name right ever on the first time ever. I also always spell Glenn's last name backwards every time. Jesse. Flexen versus Otto, man. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. Mariners 4.7 on the run total, 4 for the Rangers. Flexen, man, if I want to pick on Flexen, I think this 0.59 home run per 9 to lefties is a little bit fake because he has just a 31% ground ball rate. Let me dig into that a little bit. I got a minute. Does he have like a stupid infield fly ball rate or what? Let's go splits. Because Corey Seager is probably somebody I want to get to tonight. He's a 5% home run to fly ball rate against righties with a 17% infield fly ball rate. Basically, I don't think that ground ball rate for a guy like Chris Flexen is something that's going to keep him to half a home run per 9 against lefties. So I'm just going to kind of expect progression on that. Seager's getting me a 3.85 on the bomb detector. Marcus Semien is giving me a 4.11, and that makes a little sense too. A 1.51 home run per 9 against righties for Flexen here. So I might definitely fall into some Rangers bats here. Glenn Otto doesn't excite me. His K rate last year just kind of diminished this year. It's gone. So I'm more into bats in this one. Julio Rodriguez, France, Winker, and then Semien, Seager. Definitely leading the charge here. Those are probably my 5 favorite players from this game. And then we might get to some stacks as we get it going. Is it true the Yanks are having Joey Gallo bobblehead tick night? It's just a bobblehead that always tweaking. Okay, buddy. Okay. Listen. I don't know how that dude's still starting games. Dodgers chalk tonight. I don't have a pulse on ownership yet. But there's a good chance the minus 315 team against Paulo Espino is pretty high owned. And with there not really being 10, 11K pitchers on this slate for us to, storm the field with, just more money to go around for the bats here. So I could definitely see the Dodgers being one of the higher owned teams. Usually they're not. It's like them and the Astros always feel like should be chalk on some slates, and they're not. But I guess this is a slate without like the Yankees, no Blue Jays, stuff like that. So that's gotta go somewhere. That's our main event, by the way. I guess I should do a pause for the cause. Pause for the cause. It's all right. We got some more lineups to update. A lot of stuff came out. So we'll kind of spin the block. We'll spin the block on our ops and update lineups. Tony Gonsolin on the bump for the Dodgers. Espino for the Nats. Gonsolin, his offense has 5.6 implied runs as their total, and they are minus 315 favorites. Gonsolin's been pretty steady. However, his last start and then the All-Star game, not what you want. Against the Cardinals, gave up 5 earnings and then got rocked in the All-Star game. So it's been a rough couple weeks for him. But prior to that, he was really good. He got to the All-Star game for a reason. 2.02 on the ERA this year. Expected ERA this season is 2.98. The whip under 0.9. So I don't know if innings catching up to him, a little bad luck caught up to him, right? It's the All-Star game. Those are literally the best hitters on the planet. So I'm not going to include that in the analysis here. But it's been a rough couple of weeks. 22% K rate to righties this season. The Nats are going to probably platoon pretty heavy, put out a bunch of lefties, and they're not a big strikeout team anyway. And I feel like every day we see people attack the Nats, and the results are kind of wishy-washy. So if 10K Gonsolin got a little too trendy, maybe I undercut it, or I don't think I would land in a full fade spot just because of how bad pitching is tonight. But I could understand undercutting an egregious number, but I don't know what that number would be right now. 3.45 xFIP for Gonsolin, 26% K rate against lefties. So that's where his strikeouts kind of flourish, and I guess you could say that there's a chance that he could pick some of those up on some of these guys that don't necessarily strike out a lot. But there's no warm and fuzzies. Dodgers bats, yes. Paulo Espino, bad. 4.86 expected ERA, 1.2 on the WHIP. Sure, put Dodgers in the list. So it looked like Dodgers, Astros, Braves are going to be my 3 favorite teams. And yeah, I don't necessarily know in that order, but this is really this is an uncertain slate, man. I don't have any stone cold locks. I wonder what the bomb detector is going to tell us, But I guess we'll find out right after I tell you guys about RunDFS.com. If you guys want the bomb detector at your fingertips, my spreadsheet, my player pool, all that cool stuff, go to RunDFS.com. And check out a VIP pass. I think our best bang for your buck right now is this $300 pass. It comes with a $100 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher, so you can rebate that down to $200. And that's not just for baseball. That's everything until January 1st. So it's going to pick up a lot of the football season, a lot of the NBA season. Not a lot, a good chunk of the NBA season. Probably the most profitable part of NBA every year for me is December. So yeah, that'll be fun. So get in on that, and then that'll also get you access to the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. And usually every day I'm chilling in the voice chat. Sometimes during baseball we take the voice chats off because it's pretty quiet. But if you ever wanted to just get some one-on-one or something like that, jump into VIP, let me know. And in the Discord, I'm usually in there 2 hours before lock, and that's all the premium stuff. If you want something for free, hey, I got some free stuff for you too. Go to the link in the description below. Get into this Gundacker. Oh, I forgot to put the link to the stream here. I'm stupid. The link to this Discord, the Gundacker Gaming Discord, jump in there, and a lot of the talk is a little bit more based on props, but feel free to talk DFS. A lot of you guys are in there talking both, so that's the plug. Now we can go see what the bomb detector is thinking before we update some lineups, because I didn't see a lot of 4s when I was making the lineups. Yeah, we got some. There's a lot of Astros up here. Trace Thompson, he's always up there. I need some more sample size for him. Nick Prado's up there. Let's see. I know we were talking high on him on Saturday. We got 18 at-bats for him, 30 innings for the pitcher. Let me double-check his minor league stats. 858 OPS. All right, a little bit of power. All right, so I won't say that's fake. Freddie Freeman, obviously. Max Muncy, Marcus Semien, Mookie Betts, Nolan Jones, McCutchen, Will Smith, Jose Ramirez, Alex Bregman, Willie Adames. So not a lot of big 4+, but a couple, and then a lot for the Astros. And then, okay, I guess we'll get some lineups updated. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, throw them at me. I don't know where we're at on likes, but I bet you guys can do better. 137 of you guys hanging out. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Yeah, just smack that thumbs up if you don't mind. Helps me out. It's literally free. Literally free. All right, what lineups came out that we can navigate towards? The Padres lineup come out? It did. All right, we got Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Mazzara, Luke Voigt, Hosmer, Alfaro, Grisham. So literally as projected. Let's go. You'll love that. Doesn't change anything for us. Pirates lineup didn't come out, but the Cubbies did. Ortega, Wilson Contreras, Suzuki, Happ, Horner, Patrick Wisdom, Schwindel, Rivas, literally as projected. Let's go. 2 for 2. Angels lineup came out. Otani leading off. Ward, Walsh, Rengifo, Stacy, Stassi, Odell, Phil Gosselin, Marsh, Velasquez as projected. Let's go. Let's go. Rockies and Brewers lineup came out. Yelly, Adames, McCutchen, Hunter Renfroe. So Mike Purcell is in the lineup, but he's not batting cleanup. He's batting 5th. Urias, Tyrone Taylor batting 7th. I do like him against lefties. Colton Wong and Pedro Severino. So Jonathan Davis was in the projected, did not make the final. Does Tyrone Taylor come? No. I do like this lineup now for more 5-man purposes, but watch out for Berceau to maybe get platooned out, maybe, once the lefty's out. D-backs lineup we already had, and that was it. All right, so resort just in case. But I think not much has changed there. All right, cool. Who's winning the rushing title this year? I guess Jonathan Taylor's kind of like a chalky play. He's like the only north-south guy. Him, Derrick Henry. Those are the main north-south guys I can think of right now. Ashby and Brubaker have favorable pitching umps. That's good. Brubaker, I think, is going to be that guy that I rarely play, and today he's going to be one of my highest owned players just because of price and matchup. And same with Greinke. I don't think I've played Greinke one time. I don't think I've played him once this year. And here I am at 5K willing to take a shot against these strikeout rates and just hope that the top 3 don't kill him for 5.9K. Give me 10. If I get to 10 fantasy points, it's a dub. It's a W. If you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/gundacker, where you guys can hit me up. Otherwise, I am going to do some more digging on player props. Try to make a small list I can post in the free Discord. So if you guys just want to simplify your approach tonight, we are affiliated with PrizePicks and Underdog. If you sign up for either site using code GUNDACKER, they'll double your first deposit up to $100. And then if you let me know that you signed up using my code, I'll get you a special role in the free Discord. That's just kind of like a badge of honor that you did that. And all that good stuff. So pretty easy, pretty simple. Also, if you're going to any of the games, check out the SeatGeek app. Use code GUNDACKER on the SeatGeek app, and you'll save $20. So a lot of baseball tickets are pretty cheap, man. $8-10. You guys really want to get in there for pennies on the dollar. Use that SeatGeek app. It'll let you know if you're getting a good deal, and then you'll get an even better deal when I save you $20 by you putting my name in there. So a lot of cool partnerships that we got going on, man. I appreciate you guys giving me part of your day on a Monday. I hope you crush it tonight. I hope you have a great day. We'll try to be back tomorrow for some more breakdowns here, man. Go enjoy your afternoon, and I'll see you guys later. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.